talking a lot about inflation. We just got those final numbers in Germany. We got the inflation numbers yesterday in the UK, inflation in the US. So, of course, Nigeria, inflation figures also just coming out yesterday. And we're seeing it, headline almost at a 29-year high, 34.8%. November was 34.6%. On a month-on-month basis, though, we did see a slight deceleration, 2.4 from 2.6. And across the board, even year-on-year for food, 39.84 was 39.93 in November. Such is the case for core and food on a month-on-month basis. Also in the news, the FIRS has been given a new target for 2025 of 25 trillion naira to bring it in. That, of course, is what the National Assembly is proposing. They have exceeded their revenue goals for prior years. 2023, their target was 11.56. They brought in 12.37. 2024, they raised it to 19.4, and it was 21.6 trillion. And so we'll see how they perform for the fiscal year 2025. All right. Also news. I think Chika and Mbonu, of course, is here to discuss with us these updates, as well as we've got some breaking news on a couple deputy governors at the central bank that have been reassigned in terms of their positions. So let's get into all of that. Chika, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, inflation is something you've discussed.
What is new?
I know, right? The prices keep climbing.
What is new? I mean, the news would have been if December the inflation didn't, spike up.
Right.
Because historically, we've known in Nigeria, even without the fuel subsidy and without the foreign exchange challenges or issues, that December prices spike up. And this December was particularly, a little different for Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Nigeria was in the whole news, the whole world, because of dirty December.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, we'll have to just, take that word now and Nigerianize it and register it as copyright. The dirty December is for Nigeria, and the whole world is invited. They should start preparing for Dirty December 2025. Somebody, I was looking at papers the other day, somebody said, I missed 2024.
Wow.
Why didn't people invite me?
Wow.
So I'm going to be there in 2025. So usually we'll find the spike in prices. Let's even start from the transportation.
Yeah.
The flight tickets were untouchable. Most of the prices were almost sometimes 3 times the normal fares.
Yeah.
The road transport again was the killer. And sometimes when they quoted the prices for transportation to the east or some other places outside of Lagos, you would have thought that maybe it's a private jet we're going to use to go by road. So. And then food price also, the same thing. So there was an increase in demand, versus the supply.
Yeah.
So you actually ask yourself, did anything change in supply side? Nothing has really changed.
Yeah.
Recall, at the height of this food inflation, the president of our country graciously said they're going to give some licenses to import food into Nigeria. That didn't take off. It hasn't happened. We heard a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of infighting, a lot of resistance from making that happen.
Yeah.
And so that is on the plate. So supply didn't increase. Food. Transportation, as I told you again, they didn't have more aircrafts. The roads didn't get better.
Right.
So those happened, and we're not surprised that the prices spiked, and the inflation became what it turned out to what it is. The interesting thing again is that remember the Monetary Policy Committee was supposed to sit in January.
Yep.
This year, 2025, the first meeting for the year. But they have moved it to February now. You know what's happening. Nigeria is to rebase the inflation base and GDP. And the GDP.
Yeah.
And now, let me say one or two things about that.
Of course.
Now, the inflation base that we've been using, I think, has been on since 1998 or thereabout. Now, they want to turn the base now to 2024.
Yeah.
Now, understandable, reasonable, because before then, we didn't have this quantum spike in prices driven by the foreign exchange, equalization and the fuel price, the fuel subsidy removal.
Yeah.
So you're going to compare like to like. So what do you see now is that if you use 2024 as the base, the incremental rate now will be moderated. if you see the figure of inflation, you say, Nigerian inflation is very low because the base has been changed. But that can only impress people from Mexico who are far flung from Nigeria, or Indonesia who don't know what's happening here. The issue is that even if you bring about 100 Harvard professors to this room now, and I'm feeling hot, I'm sweating, and they did all the calculations and say, from their book and theory calculation, the temperature in this room is minus 10 degrees. Chika, I can't understand why you're feeling hot. Do whatever you have to do, it does not work. So whatever the MBS, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, comes up with, whether they rebase or don't rebase, the issue is that the inflation is still there. The market woman who goes to the market to go and buy things understands the price spikes. So if you tell them the inflation now is even negative and we're doing whatever, based on your new calculation or based on rebasing, it does not make sense. So at the end of the day, the issue is that how do the citizens of the country feel about it? The figures may impress the World Bank, the figures may impress people who don't know about Nigeria, but the citizens of the country who feel the pinch, no, the figures may make sense or don't make sense. That's very, very important.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Taxes. What do you make of the new targets for FIRS?
You know, when I teach credit, and I teach macroeconomics, when I said revenue, the revenue of government is driven by
oil.
Taxes. No.
Oh, okay. No oil.
That's what I teach. But I teach all over Africa. As a revenue of government is driven by what? Taxes. It's taxes. The government gets revenue by taxes. Now, when I come to Nigeria, I'll change my slide. I will change. However, in Nigeria, it also includes oil revenues, because of the fact that Nigerian government has direct interest on a lot of the wells and the IOCs. So they're direct shareholders on that. So what I'm trying to make is that worldwide, the government revenue is driven by taxation, and I guess we have been raising a lot of issues in taxation in Nigeria. First of all, the tax net is very small. The same people who have been being punched and taxed regularly, and we said expand the tax net, make it not punitive, make it in such a way that people will come out willingly and say, we're going to pay our tax. The other thing also, tax, as I said in this program several times, is like government share in the company's citizens' revenue profit because they're providing citizens enabling environment to do their business. So if the roads are working, if power is there, if security is there, and everything is happening, businesses are profitable and they willingly pay that tax. You can imagine if power cost in most corporations, which is about 40-45%, is substantially reduced now. They're going to have more profits. If you go and say we're going to increase your tax, people are going to willingly pay tax. So that's basically what we're talking about tax. So we're not surprised that the revenue for the tax revenues for as done by Federal Revenue Service is increasing. 25 trillion is still a trickle compared to some other geographies around us.
In fact, they even mentioned that it's like South Africa.
They're around us. They still can do more. I believe that if they can do double that. So commend even the current leadership there also. I mean this is happening, and they should be incentivized more, provided the resources required to make sure that this happens. While this money is being, used for the good of citizens. Now the members of the House are celebrating it, I guess, because they can see in their own pocket they are driving the jeeps. They are collecting the salary on time.
Plus
allowances. Whereas a lot of the citizens are being owed salaries. They don't have jeeps to go through the roads that are unpassable. So let these taxes be collected and used for the betterment of the citizens. Of the people.
Chika, thank you for this update here. The change in designation within the committee of the governors at CBN, Dr. Bala Mbelu, Deputy Governor, Corporate Services Director, to assume the role of Deputy Governor, Operations Directorate, and then Ms. Usoro, Deputy Governor, Operations Director, to assume the role of Deputy Governor, Corporate Services Director. And these changes take effect on the 20th of January. So just some
internal movement. I think these guys, they came in there at October 5, 2023. So barely a year, and I'm sure that the CBN governor, having worked with the deputy governors, knows their strengths. And then understands that maybe, you know, this player can play defense.
Yeah.
This one can play an attacker.
Yeah.
Underutilizing his or her skills somewhere here.
Yeah.
Just go there and, you know, shine for us. I think I have a feeling that it's based on the betterment of the central bank and the country. And so it's playing to the strength of the two deputy governors. You know, so I guess it's good for us.
All right. We'll see how things turn out there. Arise business analyst Chika and Mbonu, thank you for joining us to talk taxes, to talk inflation, and of course some moves there at the central bank. We appreciate your time, Chika, as always.